How to build a Blackgates Sweet Pea 5-inch gauge locomotive, part 55, fitting the first sidebar and more general plate work, all of which has to be made accurately. In this clip, I'm holding the sidebar in the correct position, just to check that it fits before I remove the footplate. If you've been watching this series, you will notice that I'm trying to attain a good degree of accuracy whilst making these plates. They both need to be accurately fitted to the guide bars, because eventually the cab is going to sit on top of these. The current cab for this engine is absolutely dreadful. I'll be working on this in the next episode, taking it apart and rebuilding it. But accurately completing the plate work is the current priority. I've bolted both of the plates together, and here I'm drilling the 3 holes that will secure the sidebar to the footplate. By bolting the footplates together, I can do all of this in one job. After the drilling comes the countersinking. I've reset the depth stop on the drilling machine because the plate thickness is now double as they are bolted together. I do want the countersinks to be slightly deeper so that the heads of the machine screws are just above the level of the footplate. I mentioned this in the previous episode, but I'm mentioning it again because it's really important. Countersinking a hole tends to make it slightly smaller than it was before it was countersunk. To rectify this problem, I'm drilling a hole using a clearance size drill for 5BA. And now you can see all the holes are drilled in both plates. The next part of the job is the deburring of the holes. I did this in the outer part of the workshop using my 4-inch belt sander. Now it's time to fit the first sidebar, which is currently clamped to the footplate. This allows me to mark the hole positions using a felt tip pen, like this. And now for something a little bit different. I'm drilling the sidebar. I'm using a twist drill once again, which is clearance size for 5BA, 1/8 of an inch. In case you're wondering why I used the mahogany plank, it was because I milled away part of the sidebar and this was to keep it level. I covered the milling operation in a previous episode. Now once again it's time to use the oil that's still in the tub that I put it in as a lubricant for the tapping operation. Try and fight the urge to slip into a coma. I'm going to run all of this at high speed. Well, most of it anyway. I will only slow down the video to normal speed for important parts. After threading the sidebar, I secure it in position. I'm fitting the sidebar to the left-hand footplate. This is the one that I fitted in the previous episode. I had to unfit it to drill it. As you can see, the countersunk holes are a perfect fit with the countersunk bolts, and the countersunk hole is just deep enough. This part was difficult. With the sidebar held in place by 3 bolts in the footplate, it's time to drill a hole through into the other support on the front. The twist drill is 2.6mm in diameter, which is approximate tapping size that you need to use for 5BA bolts. The rechargeable battery in my electric drill suddenly decided not to work, so I changed it for one with some charge in it. And to be honest, this isn't much better. I think I need to buy some new batteries for this drill. But anyway, for the moment it's working okay. I can't see this battery lasting much longer, but it should last long enough to do what I need it to do. After I drilled the hole, I swept away the swarf and then I started to tap the hole. Just to avoid any confusion, the hole I'm tapping is in the main front bearer, not in the sidebar, because the sidebar is clearance size for this thread. After I threaded the front mounting bar, it was time to countersink the sidebar. I'm pleased to say that the battery is holding out quite well, but I did have to put quite a lot of pressure on the drill to countersink the sidebar. It was apparent once I started to screw the machine screw into the hole that the machine screw was too long. The answer to that, shorten it. I cut it to length using a pair of side cutters, and then I used the 1-inch belt sander to get a good finish on the bolt. In this clip I'm screwing it in position and it's just long enough. Doing the job this way and using a piece of steel bar instead of a piece of brass angle makes the footplate a lot stronger, and it's also anchored to the front main mounting. I've turned the engine around on the bench, and here I'm removing the 4BA nuts and bolts that hold the mounting bars to the chassis. And now, in exactly the same way as you've already seen in the last episode, I threaded the holes in the mounting bars, this time without snapping off the tap. Into the outer part of the workshop now to paint the parts. I painted them with etch primer as usual. This is a special paint which contains an acid that etches the steel, and it really sticks well. After painting the parts, I need to give them quite a while to dry before applying the top coat, which in this case is going to be matte black. I will eventually paint the parts using satin black from HMG Paints, but I'm running low on that. Caution, the next part of this video is horrific. And even though I try to talk him out of it in a gentle sort of a way, my friend James Evans likes this cab, so I'm going to use it, much against my better judgment. The job will start by fully dismantling the cab because all the parts really don't fit together very well. This will be quite a long and tedious job. The customer is always right, well, at least when they're not in a recording studio. James wants this cab on the locomotive, so James will get this cab on the locomotive, but it does need rebuilding. As for me, I'm going to sit here staring blankly at the screen, thinking how bad this cab really is. Stay safe, stay healthy, thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.